All right, guys. We are welcome back to another video. So we'll continue from where we stopped in the last video. Um, the questions, the problems we have to solve. Okay, this first one, the second one, and the third one. So in the last video, we're going to be taking these two. So for this one, write a program to read the age of a candidate and determine whether it is eligible to cast, whether he or she is eligible to cast our own vote. And what does it mean for somebody to be eligible to cast their vote if they are above 18, like 18 and above? So basically, if you come here, okay, this is where we stopped in the last one. So for this first one, I can say the age as integer, then I'm going to be reading the age from the user. So if the age is greater than or equals to 18, then guess what? The person can cast vote. Let me say this person can cast their vote. So else this person cannot vote. This person cannot vote. So okay. Let me show everything properly. So the age as integer, age equals to this. Age, if age is greater than or equals to 18, then do this. So okay. So let's run the program now. So let's see what we have. Okay. Run it. Okay, so let me say if the person is maybe 14 and I enter, you see this person cannot vote. But if I run it again and I put maybe anything above 18, greater than or equals to 18, let me say 24. You see this person can cast their votes. Then let me use 18 now. Let me use 18. You see, this person can cast their vote, so it works just fine. Works just fine. So moving on to the next one. Write a program to find the largest of two numbers. So this one is very straightforward. If you have two numbers, let me say A and B. I'm not supposed to be drawing anything actually, but just to make it more explanatory. Basically, for A to be, if the contents of A is greater than the contents of B, basically, you are supposed to, like, let me say A is higher than B, or A is larger than B, or if it is the other way around, B is larger than A. There is also one other condition that is there to test if they are equal, but okay, let's just let's see what it is. So don't forget we are using A and B here. So come here and say maybe A comma B. Oh, I don't know. Let me just put it. So let me say A equals to console or read line, B equals to console or read line. Okay. So now if A is greater than B, then let me say first is greater than second. So else, let me paste this here. So first is lesser than second. So, but there's a problem with this now. Let me say, let's test different inputs. If I have maybe 2 and 3, so normally if I enter 2 as the first one, 3 as the second one, according to this our program now, it obviously it is going to be showing me the first is lesser than the second. So for 2 and for 3. Now, let's run it. So if I have 2 and I have 3, you can see the first number, which is 2, is lesser than the second, which is 3. So let us switch it and use 3 as the first one, then 2 as the second one. So if I say 3, then I have 2. You see, the first is greater than the second. Works fine. Now, this program has some error somewhere, like some logical error somewhere. So I think the type of errors that we have in programming, we have logical error, we have syntax error. I can't remember I think there are 3 major ones. There are 3 major ones. So let's just continue. So if I have something like 3 and 3, guess what? The first is lesser than the second. You can see that this is very wrong. To correct it now, what we can do is, if A is greater than B, it is say first is greater than the second. Let's do a bit of math here. If I have 2 numbers, A and I have B, according to mathematics, there can be, if you want to be very, very strict with your operations, there can be 3 possible relationships between this A and B. So one relationship is either A is greater than B, A is less than B, or A is equal to B. So for this program now, we have to take the 3 of them into consideration. So if you take this one first, then you take this one first, then you know that the only thing that is left is this one. So you can just put this one as the else condition. So you can just say else if A is less than B, then, so after this one, else both numbers are equal. So if I should run this, and I have 3 and 3, you see both numbers are equal. But to show that the other, what I did now did not compromise what was working before. So if I have 2 and I have 3, you see the first is lesser than the second. And if I should run it again for just one last time, and I have 3, 2, you see the first is greater than the second. So okay, so that is that about that. So to find the largest of 2 numbers. Okay, now what if you want to write a program to find the largest of 3 numbers? This one is a bit technical, but it's not technical actually. So what I would do, is, where's my jump board? Okay. So normally I'm going to be having, let me say X, I'm going to be having Y, and I'm going to be having Z. If I want to get to the maximum of these 3 numbers now, there are so many ways to do this. I might just decide to say, okay, let my maximum be equals to X. Then I'll now check if this X is greater than this Y, let my maximum remain X. Else, let my maximum now become Y. So after comparing this and this together, it is going to be yielding max equals to Y. So whatever maximum that I get here, it might be X or Y actually. What I want to do is, initially, I'll say my maximum equals to X. So I'll now compare X with Y. Anyone that is the maximum between the 2 of them, I'll know that, okay, the maximum between the 2 of them will be the new value of max. Max is a variable. So anything I get as the max between comparing these two, I will not compare that one with Z. After comparing with Z, anything that I now get will not be the final max. That is just it. You can see how simple it is. You just have to be able to think, um, to think, to think deep. So let me use X, Y, Z that I used there. X, Y, and Z. X, Y, and Z. So let me say console or read line X, console or read line Y, then console or read line Z. Okay, so I just come and declare another variable and call it max. So max is going to be the variable that checks that is holding the maximum value. So I can just say if my condition x, no, the first thing I want to do is to assign the maximum to x. Max equals to whatever is the value in x. Whatever is the value in x. So I'll now say if y is greater than x, then max equals to y. Actually, it should be max. If y is greater than the current maximum, then maximum equals to y. So end if. So now finally, if z is greater than the current maximum, then maximum equals to z. So x, y, and z. Okay. So we end our if and the program ends. No. We have to do console or write line max, and that is it. And that is it. So let's clear all this one. So what I did here is the x comma y comma z max as integer. So x equals to console or read line, y equals to console or read line, z equals to console or read line. So the user will be giving me the value of x, y, and z. So I'm now saying, okay, whatever the user gives me as x, just take it temporarily as the maximum. Now, compare y to what we have in maximum. If y is greater than maximum, now that value that is stored in maximum initially, modify it. Instead of the x that was there initially, make it y. That is if y is greater than the maximum. So I now come here to add another conditional statement that now at this point, we already know the maximum between x and y, but we don't know the maximum between x, y, and z. So now z equals to, if z is greater than the current maximum, which is already known between x and y, then the maximum should be equal to z. So that is basically what I'm doing here. What I'm doing here, if you remember this thing, I hope this won't be confusing. There is this law in mathematics that is saying that if A is greater than B and B is greater than C, then obviously A will be greater than C. Just this concept that I have over here is what I'm applying here. It's just what I'm applying here. So thank you very much. I think that's the last one. So I think that's the last one. I'll see us in the next video. Don't forget, if you have any questions, please use the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.